Your website is dead, and it's probably the reason your business isn't making any money. The days of just having a website and that being sufficient for you to generate sales, those days are gone. If you rewind about 15 years, it was the craze to have a website. Every business needed to have a website, and once you had a website, you were sorted. Now, we just don't live in those times anymore. If you do not have a proper sales funnel in place, you just aren't going to be making as much money as what you can be making. You're leaving so much money on the table. The average funnel converts at a 6 times higher rate than your average website. A better way to explain this would be to think of a website as a maze. It is a very confusing place for a customer that has ever dealt with your business before. A customer sees your ad on Facebook or on Google, they land on your website's homepage. There might be some sort of description about what your business does, and then in the top menu there's a shop, there's an about section, there's a frequently asked questions section, there's a meet the team section, and there might be a contact us section. There's no clear action that the client needs to take to get to the next step in their purchasing journey. Compare that to a funnel that's done properly. A funnel is a series of landing pages that have been planned very carefully. There's a lot of psychology behind it. And every step of the funnel has one goal, and that's to get the client to click to get to the next step of the funnel. It's one goal and one goal alone for every landing page in a funnel. Now, if you compare that to a website where there's a million different options, I think it's quite easy to understand why a funnel will convert so much higher. Let's jump over to my screen quickly where I can explain this a bit better. So everything in business is pretty much this equation over here. The cost to acquire a customer as a ratio compared to lifetime value of a customer. Now, most of what we do with advertising is to lower the cost to acquire a customer. This can be done through improving your Facebook ads, your Google ads, TikTok ads, your email strategies and sequences, how you buy leads, how you scrape for leads, if you buy leads through a broker. These are all ways that we can get more efficient at, and we can lower the cost to acquire a customer. Today, we're going to be concentrating more on the lifetime value of a customer. So we want to lower the cost to acquire a customer, but we want to increase the lifetime value of a customer. Now, we can do this through obviously increasing the price of our product or service, but also through our retargeting campaigns. Can we get them to purchase again? How we upsell products. That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to be talking about an upsell funnel. We can also do this through membership, subscription. There's many more ways. So like many of you are definitely aware, paid advertising has gotten a lot more expensive recently. If you compare it to back in the Facebook ads heyday of 2021, just before the iOS 14 updates, where you could target anything on Facebook ads, you could be so accurate with your targeting, Facebook could track anything, and it was literally about targeting the most specific audience, putting up a creative, and your return on ad spend was good. Now, those days are gone, as we all know. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more competition on Facebook ads. Meta has changed its algorithms. The tracking isn't as good because of iOS updates and all of these things. There's many reasons that we're not going to get into, but we need to be able to control what we can control. So what can we do? And this is to increase the lifetime value of a customer. So I'm going to use a bit of a hypothetical example here. Well, it's not really that hypothetical. It's what I encounter every day working with businesses. So if we look at this over here, this was back in the day when your paid ads were performing extremely well and everything was profitable. And I mean, I speak to clients all the time where this was the case. So if you had to look at this hypothetical company, I'm going to say it's a jewelry company for the sake of this example of mine. They were spending 150 Rand on ad spend to generate one sale to the value of 800 Rand. And that would give them a 5.3x ROAS. And at the time, this was very profitable for them. It's a straightforward equation once you look at it. You give Facebook 150 Rand and they give you 800 Rand. But over the last couple of years, the ad fees and the paid ads, the performance has gone down and it's got a lot more expensive. So to a lot of businesses, this is what the equation actually looks like. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here so we can see this whole thing. The equation looks more something like this. That 150 Rand ad spend that used to generate sale at 800 Rand has now doubled. That same business is now paying 300 Rand to generate the same sale of 800 Rand, now resulting in this only being a 2.66 ROAS. And this is no longer profitable for this company that I'm using as an example here. Now, what ROAS is profitable for you differs from company to company, but let's just use this example and say this is not profitable now. This is not as great of a situation. You're giving Facebook 300 Rand, they're only getting you 800 Rand back. So as I mentioned before, you either have to lower the cost to acquire a customer, and yes, there's a lot we can do with Facebook ads and with the advertising, but you're not going to necessarily change the game when it comes to Meta and Google. So what can we do about this 800 Rand? So the best way to increase the average purchase value is to use what's known as an upsell, and a very simple upsell funnel. As I mentioned in the beginning, every business should have sales funnels in place, but the most simple one is just a simple upsell funnel. Before you get to the very complicated funnels, you need an upsell funnel in place. I'm going to run you through a very simple one, and then we're going to come back to this to see how this changes the equation here. So I'm going to jump over to my FunnelR account. Now, for those of you that don't know what FunnelR is, it is an all-in-one platform for any business or marketing company. It's a competitor to ClickFunnels, to Kajabi, to Go High Level. It does everything from funnels to websites to courses to, you can host the e-commerce business here, it does your email sequences, it literally does everything. I will add a link below to FunnelR, so feel free to check it out. But I've made a very simple upsell funnel here for you to have a look at. So it starts with the opt-in page. Most probably with the ads you'd be running, you'd be offering a discount of some sort or some sort of offer. The offer is very important. So let's have a look at this quickly. So this is a very basic offer yet. Don't at me on my copywriting skills and landing page design skills. Yeah, I just threw this together very quickly for the sake of this example. So get 20% off jewelry. Now, when a client lands on this is all they see. This is the landing page. There's nothing else to take their attention away. There's nowhere else to go. So yeah, they'll get the information on what the offer is, and all they can click is get discount. I mean, why wouldn't they? It's a discount. They haven't committed to anything yet. It's one action they can take and one action only. So they click get discount. Just before we jump to the next page that they get to, I just want to show you, I've added tags to each customer that goes down this funnel. Now, the tags are very important. This is for when you're running your email sequences that you can market to the correct segments. So after someone clicks that they're interested in the discount, they get added to a list called lead. They can take it to the next page. Now, the next page is going to have a little bit of sales copy art. Once again, I threw this together really quickly, but add a touch of magic with this season's bestseller. As I said, this is a jewelry company. A bit of information about the product. I've just linked a YouTube video here, but obviously an image or a video about the product to make the sale. The price, buy now, save 20%. Buy now for only 800 Rand. This offer will expire in. This is also very good, just also time a year to create a bit of urgency. As you can see, the only option they have here, there is information about the product. They can read about it. They can see all the different characteristics and that. Make it very visual, make it very appealing. But the only option they have, buy now for only 800 Rand. They get their 20% discount, which is great. So if they click on this, they go to the next page. Here you'll see I've added a new tag. Now they go from being a lead to a hot lead. So I've tagged them as a hot lead and I've unassigned them as a lead before they get to the checkout page where they can actually make their purchase. This is a normal checkout page where you enter all your information to make the purchase. You can leave a couple of reviews here just to give them a bit of trust, to give them a bit of social proof, to get them over the line, to actually commit to making the purchase. And here, finally, they have to add their credit card details and say, place order now. And this is where it gets interesting. So up until there, it's a very normal customer journey. But here, after they've bought the initial product, we're going to make an upsell. As you can see, after the checkout page, they're going to purchase the necklace, which is the product that we sold initially. That was our initial offering. We assign them as a tag as a customer because they've now become a customer, and we've unassigned them as a hot lead. They're no longer a hot lead. But now they're going to get hit with an upsell page. Now, this is where you can make your money. This is where you can change the game. This is where you can negate all those very expensive ad fees that you've been getting recently. This is where you can change that equation we looked at previously. So they just bought the necklace. Now they get hit with a page saying, since you bought a necklace, you might need somewhere to keep it. Now, I'm being very abrupt and forward with that. You can make yours, you can be a bit more romantic and subtle. Get a custom jewelry box for 50% off. Because they bought a necklace, a jewelry box is related to that. There's an offer. It's something they'll need. I mean, if they're buying necklaces, rings, things like that, they'll need a jewelry box. And now this is something you can upsell. And you can see 50% off. It used to be 3,000, now it's 1,500. I've added an image of a jewelry box here. Yeah, you can see, add to my order for only 1,500 Rand. And that's the only option. It's that or no thanks, I don't want a beautiful jewelry box. Obviously that's a bit tongue-in-cheek as well, but that is a great upsell. Now, an upsell needs to be extremely relevant to whatever they bought initially. It needs to be a good offer, and then obviously it needs to be a good and attractive landing page, a sales page that you put forward as well. And then whether or not they take the offer, they'll get taken to the next step in the funnel, and this is where our funnel will end. So as you can see, if we scroll down here, here's the upsell page. They get sold the jewelry box if they click on it. And then I've just assigned a tag here, hyperactive customer. Now that's a good thing to know as well for segments. Some customers are more likely to take these upsells. That's a good thing to know, because when you remarket to them in the future, you know how likely different segments in your marketing list are to actually take the upsells. And then eventually a thank you page. So that's just a very simple page. Success, check your inbox for your invoice, and then you've got links to your social there. So that is a very simple example of a funnel, of an upsell funnel. And you can also keep that upsell loop open indefinitely. So in that example, we upsold the jewelry box, but you can also say, if they've purchased the jewelry box, upsell them this, and then this, and then this. There's no upper limit to what a hyperactive customer might purchase. I mean, I know for myself, if it's something I'm interested in and it's relevant and someone gives me a good offer, I'm likely to purchase 2 or 3 items on a website when it comes to the hobbies that I'm interested in. So if we jump back into the example we looked at earlier, we looked at this example where someone was getting a certain ROAS because of quite affordable ad spends, and then the ad spend went up and now suddenly it wasn't profitable anymore. But now this changes the example a bit, because we have an upsell now of 1,500 Rand. And the data we have available to us indicate that 1/3 of people tend to take the upsell. Now that's a very vague statement. That would depend on how relevant the upsell is, how good the offer is, which industry this is in, what time of the year it is. I mean, there are many, many factors, but it's not uncommon for 1/3 of people to take an upsell on a product if it is done correctly. So if in this example where the upsell is worth 1,500 Rand and 1/3 of people take it, you would be adding 500 Rand to your average purchase value. I mean, because it's 1,500 upsell, 1/3 of people take it, 1/3 of 1,500 is an additional 500 Rand to your average purchase value. So now let's revisit the equation we looked at initially. You're still spending 300 Rand to acquire the customer. You can't do anything about that, as I mentioned. I mean, there are things you can do about it, but for this example, you're not going to change it drastically in a short time frame. But now, because of the upsell funnel, your average order value has gone from 800 Rand for the one product you were selling to 1,300 Rand. You have now taken your ROAS back up to a 4.33x in this example, which is profitable again. So this is a very good example of how an upsell, if done correctly, can literally take your business from failing to actually being operational. Most businesses would stop. As soon as the ad fees go up and the cost to acquire a client goes up, they stop. They say, we can't afford this anymore. We have to switch this off and come up with something new. And that's just not the case. And I mean, I want to now talk about one of my favorite quotes. And this is a quote by Dan Kennedy. And that basically says, whoever can spend the most money to acquire a customer wins. And I love that mindset because, ad fees go up. And rightfully so, everyone gets very scared, everyone gets very nervous. They don't know if they can be able to afford to keep their business afloat. But with this mindset, it says, if I can afford to pay more to acquire a customer than my competitors, I win. So you just need to switch the way of thinking. It's saying, okay, the cost to acquire a customer is going up. Maybe there's nothing I can do about that. What can I do about the lifetime value of that customer? I can change that by putting sales funnels in place. And that now changes the whole equation. Now I'm profitable again. So this was a very simple look at how a funnel can absolutely change the landscape that a business finds itself in. I'll be definitely delving more into this subject because I think we are heading in a direction where, as I mentioned in the beginning, websites as we know it are becoming obsolete and you need a well-constructed funnel in place. So if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing this more regularly and keep well. See you soon.